Hello everyone and welcome back to Push Square. My name is Aaron and today's video is all about the Dualsense Edge. This is a highly customizable Pro controller for the PlayStation 5 that Sony were kind enough to send us along. Now this isn't going to be a review, you can expect that in another video next week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and all of that jazz. But today's video is going to be all about unboxing this thing to see exactly what you get for that very high price tag. Let's get into it. So as you can see, we have a bit of a setup going on here. I have my unboxing camera that I have moved over here. So of course, yeah, we've got a big chunky box for the Dualsense Edge. It's actually kind of heavy. I had a little bit of an issue with this whole tape stuff here, so we've got that out of the way, and let's just get into opening this up. Okay, move this aside. There we have you. This part is done. So we've got this little box here. I hope I'm not opening this the wrong way. No, I'm not so far. Congratulations, Aaron. We've got a nice cloth here and a relatively heavy box, so that must have... Yep, we've got some stuff in here. Your usual booklets and all of that kind of jazz. And we got a nice cloth around this actually. Oh, okay, I actually was not expecting this. I haven't actually looked a lot into this controller all that much, so I'm very curious to see what kind of options we have here. But that's a nice sturdy case actually. You get the little PlayStation shapes along here, PlayStation logo in the front, little PlayStation zip handles, and a clasp if you wanted to clip that onto something. I really like that actually. That's really nice. So opening it up though, here we have the controller itself. So we'll get into some of the peripherals in a minute, but let's take this off and have our first impressions of the actual controller. Now, if you want for a little bit of comparison, here are the regular Dualsense controller and the Dualsense Edge. So looking at this, of course, we've got the glossy black along the fronts. You have the PlayStation shapes on the touchpad here, and the gloss, or at least more of a gloss, or more apparent gloss on the buttons as well. Largely, I'd say it feels the same. I'm not sure if it maybe feels a little slimmer actually. I think it does. I think it feels slightly slimmer, a little bit more lightweight. Now, of course, as you can see here, we've got here the these are like adjustments for the triggers in terms of how far they have to go by the feel of things. So up the way here, these will go all the way down, and then going like that, they're only halfway. And then you've got like your RB and LB points there, along with FN buttons on the fronts there as well. So looking to the actual case, we've got a couple of different options. Let's get this big wire up the back here. There'll be your charger cable, USB-C. It's got a nice kind of braided look to it actually, and it appears to be quite lengthy. So in the actual box, we have 4 thumbstick grips, what appears to be a lock for a charger perhaps, and triggers, paddles for the back. Now these will go into the back here. I'm just going to quickly check to see if they do actually have, yes they do. So this is labeled LB, so that will go in here. So that's slotted in really easy actually. So just like that, it's almost like a magnetic slot, and these will just come back out super easy as well. Okay, so then we'll be able to click these in the back. So then we've got these here as well, which are obviously your customizable thumbsticks for the actual Dualsense. So if we do this, should release, yep, there we go, should release the front like that. So we have the front able to come off here. There we have little pins on the side actually. So that... Ah, okay, okay. So as you can see, you slot these aside. There's one over here. So a little pin that goes up like that. And then you slide it off. And there we have the controller without any of the analog sticks in it. So this actually isn't how you change the caps at all. So like, let's say if we slot these back in. Like that, it should be a case of just pulling the top, there we go, pulling the tops directly off. So now we want this one that's a slightly more rounded, a bit more pronounced, sticking out a little further, and we just slot that one like that. Then you have one that's far more, you know, sticking out a lot more than the other one. So you have these options that I have included right now stick out a lot more. These ones here are the same rounded top but of a shorter stem, so you don't have to have them as sticking out quite so much. And then if I want all of this to go back on, it's simply a case.
1 minute later.
There we go. A little bit fiddly, I will say. A little bit fiddly, but we got there in the end. So you don't actually need to do any of that to release these. You can just pull these off and switch them back over, or, you know, whatever one you want. In addition, these paddles here don't need to be these longer ones. You can also have these back paddles, which are just far smaller little clicks, like more clicks there. So there is that if you're not wanting to, but I find that the paddles actually sit more naturally where your fingers would be. So that's quite cool. But again, they're super easy to take on and off actually. And it's just a case of not clicking in or anything. It's like a little magnetic slot. So just to go through everything really quickly with the features that you have with this controller, you have additional buttons on the front here. You have attachable paddles on the back for additional buttons, which can either be this little paddle or a smaller clicky, bit more of a clickier button on the side. And these are attached magnetically. There's no forceful clicking in or anything like that. You have the trigger distance, I suppose, with that being the top going all the way down that you usually would, and that going down being a shorter distance. You've also then got the front, which can actually come off, and it is a little finicky. I have literally no nails, so I'm having to use this little thing here, and that will come off the front. And this allows you to actually switch out the trigger modules, or the analog modules, sorry. So if you want a different one that you can buy in separately, you now have the option to take them out and switch them out for something else. Of course, I'm just sticking with the ones that I've got right now. And then if you're wanting to get rid of this on the front, it's just a simple case of taking it off and replacing it with one of the ones. And you get 2 additional options included with this. And I do find this whole process here quite finicky, to be honest. And of course I say that and I do it flawlessly that time, but as you can see, that's pretty much all of the features that you get. You get it inside a pretty nice carry case actually, which goes really nice. And there, just one more look at it besides the normal Dualsense, and I do actually find it to be a little slimmer. It feels sleeker, it feels a little bit lighter actually. So yes, I'm relatively impressed with this so far. It does seem customizable. Now, as I said, we'll have our full review on the channel next week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on that. But yeah, this has been the unboxing of the Dualsense Edge, Sony's Pro customizable PlayStation 5 controller.